So there are a couple of things that are more global that will drive growth. The first one is we got some alleviation from all the debate around drug costs, as we kind of know nothing will be done in 2020 in the election year. So that probably provides some alleviation of the pressure we saw all year on the biotechs. The payers are not pushing as hard. They are finding it very hard to push on the specialty drugs that biotech is now increasingly focused on. And in terms of disease area, this is the big make or break year for Biogen with their Alzheimer's drugs. It's probably the most important decision the FDA will be making in 2020.
What's your gut tell you? Yes, no?
Yes. So, you've got to be cautious about this. The data is flawed. There's a lot of questions. But as I was talking to more and more investors, I just realized that I'm kind of pitching the stock because I kind of think it will work. And I think that they will get approval this year.
How much was a looser FDA a piece of biotech's big run-up this past year? And do you think that trend will continue next year?
Yeah, I think this is the legacy of the former FDA commissioner. Essentially, the FDA is now at the point where they rather than just look at complete answers and ask people to cross the T's and dot the I's, the view now is more along the lines of, are we convinced this is working? And if this is working, we're going to prove it. We're not going to wait for them to cross every T and dot every I because the patient is waiting. So we are seeing a lot more drugs getting approved on a lot less data. From a biotech perspective, this is wonderful. It means that small companies that previously had to sell out to large companies can now complete their clinical programs and come to the market on their own. And in terms of time to get drugs to the market, it got cut tremendously down. So patients with cancer, patients with rare diseases get their drugs a lot faster than they did, call it, 4 years ago.
I mentioned these other companies, and this so often happens in the biotech industry. You'll find a company you've never heard of that comes out of nowhere. It gets approval for some treatment of some kind, and up that goes the stock. So we had these Kodiak Sciences, we had Axum Therapeutics, and companies like that have come out of nowhere. But for you, in 2020, your top three picks are very much household names. You're going with the old guard of Amgen, Biogen, and Gilead. Why?
That's right. So essentially, the large caps have generally underperformed the SMID biotechs, which are the one drug ponies that if it works, you get paid a lot. I cover the larger cap names, and among those, you're kind of looking at those companies that have more of a portfolio of products, are slower growing, but also generate enough cash, sometimes pay a dividend, and are able to do well, even if the overall market does not do particularly well. So that is the logic behind those choices.